The BBC has a huge loss, NBC has a huge win, and the Gilmore Girls are back in town. So this is the Telemazing News Update. Let's get going. Hey everybody, Joseph Mwamba here again for the Telemazing News Update for Monday, June 8th, 2015. So let's go. And we start off today not in America, but across the pond to London. Top Gear is one of the most profitable shows for the BBC, and the heart of that show is Jeremy Clarkson. Jeremy Clarkson was kicked out of Top Gear after a tirade with one of the producers. And after being kicked off, the two other hosts, Richard Hammond and James May, had to go on without him. However, the next season of Top Gear may be without any of their original hosts. Hammond and May both reportedly would have made $4 million if they came back to the show, and it looks like they're going to turn it down. Who turns down $4 million? Someone who thinks is going to get more money at Netflix. Clarkson has moved on to create a new show with Netflix, and it looks like Hammond and May are going to be joining him on the show, which is pretty interesting. I mean, $4 million to turn it down from a network that had that much faith in you in the first place? Ugh. But I mean, good luck to Hammond and May. Way to stand up for your friend Clarkson, and I hope that the three of you create a big show on Netflix. And as for the BBC, they're going to have to come up with new hosts for this incredibly lucrative show. Either way, it's not official, but it just looks like it's going to end up going that way. And speaking of things that are going that way, let's talk about the Broadway. That was a really bad segue, I'm really sorry. Last night, the Tonys were on, and I'm just going to admit it, I know nothing about the Tonys. I know that Helen Mirren won an award. I also know that Vanessa Hudgens was actually there. I also know that J-Lo looked confused at a point. But other than that, I'm not very fluent on any of the Tony Awards. I'm sorry, guys. So I just wanted to put it on record that we talked about the Tonys. If you want to talk about the Tonys, please, by all means, talk about it in the comments. I'll be more than willing to listen and hear about all your opinions on who won, who should have won, who was snubbed. However, I just really think that I wouldn't be able to add anything concrete to that conversation. But it's a big enough thing that I feel like I should have mentioned it. In other news, NBC had a huge day on Saturday. Serena Williams won her 20th Grand Slam with her victory in this French Open in the morning. And then later in the day, American Pharoah became the first Triple Crown winner in 37 years. And then in the evening, you had Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final with the Lightning winning 4-3. First off, you have a woman who is now third all-time in Grand Slam victories, only behind Steffi Graf with 22 Grand Slams and Margaret Smith Court, who has 24. Then you have American Pharoah, who won in just an amazing fashion, in an exciting fashion, and now he's the first one to win in 37 years, which is incredible. Of course, you have Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and actually, that Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals is the highest rated Game 2 ever, and so NBC had a pretty good day. Good job, NBC. However, there is something that a lot of people do want to talk about, and it's about the Gilmore Girls reunion. So the Gilmore Girls cast came back, and Lorelai and Rory were right back to their regular ways, talking really crazy fast. But of course, most of the conversation led to whether Lorelai and Luke are still together, or whether Rory really had a perfect boyfriend between the three really good boyfriends that she had. And of course, the answers were they definitely are still together, and you can't really make a decision as to which boyfriend was better. Executive producer Amy Sherman Palladino did squash any kind of rumor that there would ever be a reunion show. She said that that might be possible, but as of right now, there are no plans. However, she did say if they did do this, they are going to, and I'm going to use the tablet to quote this correctly, but if it ever happened, I promise we do it correctly. Nobody here hates each other, which is very important. It would have to be the right everything, the right format, the right timing. It would have to be honored in a certain way, and if it ever came around, we would all jump in and do it. Otherwise, a great reunion. And lastly, a pretty interesting development. A couple of days ago, we gave you an update that ABC changed their upfront schedule to move Quantico to Sundays and getting rid of Kings and Prophets. NBC now just announced that they're going to be moving their schedule as well. Heartbreaker, which was supposed to be on at Tuesdays at 9 p.m. is going to be moved to mid-season because their lead cast member, Melissa George, is now pregnant, and the pregnancy might kind of mess up with production. So Heartbreaker is being moved to mid-season, and then they're going to bring up Chicago Med to then take its spot. So Chicago Med is actually a spin-off of Chicago Fire and Chicago PD, so now you have a 2-hour Chicago block. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't really personally know. I think Chicago Med is going to be a good show. I always trust Dick Wolf to know what he's doing. It hurts Heartbreaker a little bit. I don't think it's going to be that bad. Otherwise, that's everything we have for you on this Monday, June 8th of 2015. Leave a comment on anything we talked about today, whether it's about the Top Gear guys, whether it's about the Tonys, whether it's about the Gilmore girls, and whether you're excited about a reunion or not. Also, make sure you share the video with all your friends. Also, like the video so we can tell people that the video's cool and awesome. Thank you for watching, and make sure you go watch some TV. We'll see you soon. And much like in the HBO teaser, Sci-Fi's Sharknado 3 is gonna be stunted with celebrities, including David Hasselhoff and Mark Cuban playing the President of the United States.
People should watch Telemazing because you're not going to find a more diverse group of people who have diverse views and upbringing.
It's tough to find a show that is so engaging week after week. You know, there's no filler episodes, there's no real time wasters, if that makes sense.
It's like replacing Mrs. Frizzle on the Magic School Bus. It's like replacing Bill Nye the Science Guy on Bill Nye the Science Guy. It's like replacing Steve from Blue's Clues. And yes, we know this happened because of Joe, but we don't like Joe. We like this Joe, but not that Joe.